Welcome to Human Sexuality Issues for Social Work, SW 965. I'm Leah Doherty, one of the faculty primarily located at the Scranton campus. I have been teaching at Marywood for about 20 years and have taught this class several times, however, not recently as it hasn't been offered for a couple years. So basically, I'm redesigning the course this summer as an elective, and we are doing it online for the first time. So I ask that you bear with me a little bit as we design this course in a way that will be both user friendly in terms of online and also user friendly for you as future practitioners or even current practitioners. So I'm going to take a few minutes, go over the syllabus, tell you what to expect in terms of assignments. It's a little awkward to do this. I haven't quite figured out how to hold the syllabus to go over it, where to put things. So if I'm glancing down, that's because I'm reading something off of the syllabus. Okay, so the first thing on the syllabus is the course rationale. This is an extension of human behavior in the social environment. We're going to incorporate a little bit of policy and research and also practice, looking at evidence-informed, evidence-based practices. As a social worker, it's important that you are prepared to deal with issues of human sexuality. And this is the cat that has just, some of you may have seen the cat come into this bottom of the screen. The cat's name is Tifa. Um, so anyway, this will cover all aspects. This course is going to cover all aspects of human sexuality, and I'm open to your areas of inquiry. That's why I asked the things that I did on the Getting to Know You survey. Okay, so the course description will look at contemporary issues related to social work practice policy and research and a wide range of beliefs and behaviors. Okay, the objectives to look at and be able to better expand your comfort and practice skills in the area of human sexuality. Okay, the text is Ingersoll and Satterley, Sexual Concepts for Social Workers. This is a new text. It was one of the only ones available specifically for social workers, so I've never used it before, and together we'll decide if we like it or not. I also will be posting journal readings and internet readings on Moodle. Okay, course requirements. That's really what you want to know about. So the way I'm designing this class is that our way of communicating is going to be primarily three things. One is discussion forums. So if you've had an online class before, you're probably familiar with those on Moodle or another platform. That's where there'll be a forum. You have an original response to a series of questions, and then you're required to reply to two classmates. There are three discussion forums for the course, each worth 5 points. The due dates are all on Sundays, so I will post the questions on Mondays, and you'll have the week to respond up until midnight on Sunday. I apologize that I'm a little late getting started today. I'll go into that in a little more detail in a few minutes. So May 22nd, June 5th, and June 19th are the 3 weeks we'll be doing forums. The next is chats. I'm going to be using Google Hangouts to be doing live chats. I'm going to limit them to about 6 people per chat. There are 44 of you registered, I believe, maybe 45, in 2 sections. The chats will be both sections signing up simultaneously. I'll take 3 from one section, 3 from another, so we can kind of intermingle a bit. And I'm going to list 12 times of availability for the week. Each chat will last approximately 30 minutes. It'll be designed to talk about either the readings for that week or an assignment, or the last chat is specifically focused on a book that you're going to read for this course. And those dates are May 29th, June 12th, and June 26th. So basically, each week we're going to have either a discussion forum or a chat. The next is there are 2 quizzes in this course. They are both going to be multiple choice. They are going to be in the design of the licensure exam. So if you've had me before, you know a little bit about how I use electives as a time to help prepare you for what to expect on the licensure exam for the LSW. It doesn't matter what state you live in, the exam is the same exam nationally. So there will be 15 questions. It will be open at noon on Friday, and you'll have until midnight on Sunday to take the quiz. The questions will come from some of our readings that we have, but also it will be people-based, client-based questions. A lot of, what would you do first? So this week we're going to talk about screening and assessment, and there may be some client-based questions around screening for issues related to sexuality. Um, I will give you a list of what to kind of prepare for prior to the quiz so that you know if we've had multiple readings, kind of which ones are the most important to go over or things to know in preparation for the quiz. But some of it is really just being able to read the question and, identify what is the one right answer or one most right answer. And I'll talk more about that as it gets closer to the quizzes. But the quizzes are the weekends of June 3rd to 5th and June 24th to 26th. So again, they'll be available from noon on Friday to midnight on Sunday. Then the next assignment is a current event assignment, current human sexuality issue, looking at what's happening in human sexuality in the real world. So you're going to locate something in the media, newspaper article, journal article, a TED talk, something that is within, say, the last 6 months, maybe a year, uh, an issue related to something that we'll maybe discuss in this class or more broadly human sexuality. You're going to tell me a little bit about what you read, and then you're going to go find 3 outside sources that will give you more information about this topic, or more specifically about this topic and social work counseling practice. So I don't want you just to summarize the article. I kind of want you to go beyond that to looking at what is happening in our field related to this article. Okay, so you need 3 citations in addition to the article itself or the media citation. And that is due Sunday, May 29th. This you'll type up just in a Word document with reference page, APA format, and there'll be a place to upload it on Moodle. Then the next is either a research or a policy assignment. This is where you're going to identify a research study conducted in the last 5 years or a federal or state policy or legislation that was enacted in the last 5 years. And you're going to do a 1-page summary based on the questions that I'll post on Moodle. And they'll be just very simple descriptive questions. What was it that you identified? Tell us some facts about whether it was research study, where it was conducted, who conducted it, what were their major findings, or if it's legislation, who proposed it, what was the process to get it passed, and if there's any implications thus far of what's happened since it's been enacted. This is just getting us to look at the things that we're going to be working with in practice are influenced by research agendas and by policy agendas. And so we should be paying attention to some of those things. And then we will chat about that in our chat session the week leading up to June 12th. Okay. So you need to do those in preparation for that chat session that week. Okay. And I'll talk more about that as we get going in this. The next assignment is an evidence-based practice brief. This is where you're going to identify, and I'm going to post up on Moodle a list of databases to search evidence-based practices. This is where you want to identify something that can be used to work with clients that's evidence-based or evidence-informed, and we're going to do a fact sheet. It's 2 pages front and back. I will post some examples so that you can see them. For example, one that you might do is trauma-focused CBT for people who have experienced childhood trauma, and that might include sexual abuse. what is trauma-focused CBT? Who developed it? How are you trained in it? What are the key components? What are the pros and cons? Is there validity and reliability of, any instruments related to implementing that practice? Where has it been tested? So, kind of an overview, but an overview in a very succinct 2-page handout that you could use in professional practice or at a conference or at some sort of meeting in the community. And then the last assignment is a book assignment. On my Amazon page, I have a wish list. It's titled Social Work Course, Class, something like that. And it has close to 100 books. I started it for my women's issues class, and I've added to it for this class. So not all books are specifically related to an issue related to human sexuality. So when you're selecting a book, please choose ones, that would be more relevant for this class. And also right now there are more women's memoirs than there are men's autobiographies or memoirs. So I am open to other suggestions because I am just building this kind of list. But what I want you to do is pick something and buy it. I have a lot of them already. I own them. So if getting that is difficult, let me know. And if you live close, I'm happy to lend you something from my library. But I want you to read it for the last week of the semester. So this is an addition to our textbook. I think you'll find our textbook's a really easy read. So hopefully reading a memoir, won't be too difficult in addition to the textbook and the other readings that I post. I do have more readings posted for this week since several of you don't yet have the textbook. So that's why I added things, articles and resources from the web rather than the textbook for this week. And we will talk about the book in our last chat, what you got out of it, what you liked, what's its relevance to social work practice. When would you use memoirs or autobiographies with clients? So there are 7 assignments. There's no big assignment. There's no big paper in this class. I use a lot of little assignments that are user friendly, that have some value to you in practice, and hopefully don't cause you too much stress. That you can get done, on a weekly basis. Sitting down in an hour or two, you could get an assignment done. Okay. Um, so that's on the last page of the syllabus is the grading scale and just an overview of the assignments. There is no reading list at this point. The reason for that is that I'm building the reading list based on some of what you're telling me in the getting to know you paper, survey, whatever we're calling it. I will have the readings up for next week, within the next day or two, and then I'll build the rest of the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks over, the next several days. So that's an intro to the course. If you have questions, please text them to me. You will get a much quicker response if you send me a text than if you send me an email. I get a couple hundred emails a day because of different roles that I have and also some of the junk mail that I get. So if you need to ask me a question, I would much prefer that you send it to me in a text. That's why I asked you all today to text me. So I have your number. I know who's texting me. I've saved all of you in my contacts. So just quickly, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Several of you in the course, maybe about a third of you, I think I've taught already, so you know most of this. But I've been a social worker for 30 years. I started out with persons with developmental disabilities. I was the first HIV case manager in northeastern Pennsylvania 25 years ago, when people were very afraid of HIV disease and there was not yet any medication. About 6 months after I became case manager, AZT was approved for distribution. After that, I worked on a Department of Defense contract and got to travel with doing research into the life of military families. Then I worked at United Neighborhood Centers for 10 years, and its relevance to this class is I helped facilitate the Batterers Intervention Program for men who are violent in intimate partner relationships. I also helped start their HIV prevention program and STI prevention program. And we did just, you know, sexuality came up in different capacities. We ran transitional housing, chronic homeless. They're really, sexuality is intertwined in so much that we do. Um, Following that, I worked at Women's Resource Center, where I was an advocate and a crisis worker, as well as did grant writing and program management, report management. Following that, I became a full-time foster parent 4 years ago. And in that time frame, I've had 24 children live in my house. I currently have a 17-year-old that I have legal custody of and a 9-year-old that I'm hoping to be pre-adoptive for. I'm waiting for the TPR, termination of parental rights, hearing to be held to see where this is going to go. I am no longer taking additional foster kids until we figure out what's going on with Jalen. I've had Josh for about 3.5 years, I think, going on 4 maybe. His mom died tragically after he was in foster care, and he's had quite an up and down journey in his life with his family of origin. So, with the kids that have lived here, I've had mostly older youth. So, I've had a lot of experiences related to sexuality. My household has been investigated twice for things that happened here in the house between the kids in the house, or one kid to another kid, both with sexual acts, sexual pornography. So I am familiar with an investigation process. I'm familiar with the behaviors of children. I'm familiar with both child being the victim and child being the perpetrator, and have worked with getting the kids services that they need. So I'm very comfortable to talk about services in the community and the ways in which I've partnered with providers. The difference between being the provider and being the parent. Share some of that experience as well. I'm sure I have forgotten a bunch of things. I teach part time at the University of Scranton as well as Marywood, and that is why I was so tied up today, because I was meeting with lots of students there, collecting final assignments, handing back papers. So we graduated our students on Saturday, kind of finished up with that. We started our advanced standing students, arrived at campus today for their first day of classes at Marywood, and I was finishing up with the U. So everything was just a busy day. So I will try and stay on top of things throughout the 6.5, 7 weeks we're doing this journey through to the end of June. If you have any questions, feel free to call me or text me. It's currently about, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning as I'm recording this. So I don't know what time to tell you is too late to call. Generally about 11 o'clock, I think. And I'm up at 7 in the morning with Jalen. So I welcome you to Human Sexuality. I look forward to your experience in this class. Oh, one last thing. For the forum that is posted for this week, it's talking about conducting a sexual history. There's an article that's a couple pages long about social work's need to be connected and have it be a field of social work to do work with sexuality. So I'm asking you to read that article. Then the rest of the handouts or things on Moodle are more guides and an overview of using screening tools or assessment tools. So there's a question about those as well. But there is also a Word document on Moodle that is a sexual history questionnaire for social work students that I designed. And I'm asking you to complete that and share your answers on the forum. And you can look at it and say, no way, I'm not sharing anything about myself. Or you can look at it and say, I'm comfortable to share these answers. Or you may look at it and say, I'm comfortable to share it all. What I want you to look at is, if you were doing this screening with a client and these are the questions you're asking, how comfortable are you to answer those questions to your classmates? and what is it that you're comfortable to share and not share. One of my mottos in life is that I never ask a client to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. And if I'm uncomfortable to do it, I really need to look at my own stuff and what goes into my feelings. So I look forward to your reactions and your responses. Again, this is human sexuality. We're going to touch on some tough stuff, some controversial stuff, some stuff that may push your buttons. So if there's something you want me to know about you, you can send me an email telling me a little bit about your story, or something you want me to know that you don't want to share on the forum, or something you feel relevant, to your experience in this class. All right, I was shooting for 20 minutes. I'm at 21, so good night, and I will talk with all of you soon.